Well, this is Reverend Rod James, who's the field worker for the Assembly of Confessing Congregations. And Rod, you've got a congregation over here, haven't you? And you've come across to see what's happening.
Yes, that's right, Ian. The Whittlesea Uniting Church is a member congregation of the ACC, and I knew some folk in that congregation. So a couple of days after the fire, gave them a ring and asked if they would like a hand for a week. That was 7 weeks ago, and things have unfolded from there.
Rod, tell us a bit about what you saw when you first came here. What was the feeling?
Oh, it was unbelievable, Ian, as to the devastation, the loss of life. In this particular Strathewen community, 42 people had lost their lives out of a total of about 200 people just in a little valley. And they talk about something, the firefighters talk about a hot burn. And when there's a hot burn, the countryside is scorched in a way that doesn't occur with the natural grass bushfire. And so many of the trees, the roots are burnt out, and the countryside is just absolutely scorched and gutted.
Rod, as we look around, we can see just black sticks, and it's like this for miles and miles and miles, isn't it? From King Lake all around this whole plateau of territory. Can you tell us some of the comments? We've just been talking to Barry from local people as they try to describe the phenomena of the whole thing.
Yes, they talk about a firestorm, and Barry's house, which is just below us here in the valley, 19 people were in that house as the spot fires were dropping out of the sky from the ash and so on. And for some time before the fire arrived here, they were defending that house, putting out the spot fires, and thought they were fighting the bushfire. But then the firestorm came, and one rather stocky firefighter was just blown off his feet by that. Another man spoke of his house being so hot that he let 3 cats out the door, and they made it about 3 metres and expired and turned into ash. His mobile phone melted in his pocket, and his glass windows softened and bowed in and then burst, and a firestorm burst through the house and blew the double doors off his lounge room as it went through, and so on.
This is Reverend Rod James from the Assembly of Confessing Congregations and Hope Network, and he's heading up a work party program here. We can see the fence line, and it's part of the work that's happening here to assist local residents. Like 25% of the Strathewen area died in this fire.
Yeah, 20 to 25% died.
And their agricultural assets and so on just wiped out. Rod, just explain what you're doing here now in supervising the work parties that are coming here, where they're coming from and what's happening.
Well, I have a wide network through ACC, Hope Network, and my own prayer support team of people that I communicated with when I came to the fires. And there was a spontaneous groundswell of response, both in financial donations and also in offers of volunteers. So together with the Aberfoyle Park Uniting Church and a couple of lay leaders there, we've established a framework under which the work parties can be made up each week from people from different places. And we've got churches in Queensland, Victoria, South Australia that have expressed interest in that, and each week we're making up a work party of between 4 and 10 people, with one of us supervising that party. At this stage we are on cleaning up fence lines in readiness for refencing, doing chainsaw work, clearing tracks and fence lines and so on. Further down the track we hope to get more skilled labour into fence building and other reconstruction work.
Now Rod, a lot of this has happened as a result of your own personal contact with people on the ground, and that's how the work has developed from that basic level. How much more do you think has to be done, and how much longer will this go on for?
That's very hard to tell. Each time I've come over, and this is my 5th trip over here since the fire, I thought, well, maybe it's winding down, but until now it seems to have been widening up. And in 1 Corinthians 16:9, Paul says that he wants to stay in Ephesus at least until Pentecost, for a wide door has opened to me for effective work here, and that seems to be what has happened. As we were allowed into the area, I, using my own vehicle, drove up people's tracks. My motto in ministry is, there's nothing like showing up. And so I just showed up on people and listened to their stories, shared their pain, and by coming back time and again, a relationship has developed, and that has become the basis of us now being able to come with work parties and help those people.
People can see that there is care happening here that's practical, and it's reliable as well. Now, there's something coming up, I think, is it next week, that's being organised, a healing rally or conference or event that you're involved in. Can you tell us a bit about that?
Sure. Yes, I was contacted by some people who are organising a day-long festival on next Sunday, the 5th of April. They've called it a Day of Healing, and it'll be held down at Eltham, which is a near suburb of Melbourne. They're expecting several thousand people there, and they'll have bands playing throughout the day, sort of from mid-morning until late afternoon. And during that time, they'll have different people comparing it and sharing stories, and they've asked me to be involved as someone who is on the ground in the recovery effort, and so I'll be sharing some talks and also doing some of the comparing.
Rod, just before we conclude this, and we certainly wish you well with that event, that obviously has opened up an important door for you to communicate with the people. What would you say to folk back home in the churches, not just in South Australia, but other churches as well, other states as well, that ACC have got congregations?
Pray, because one of the things that is tangibly experienced in an effort like this is the answers of God to people's prayers for this work, that it be sustained. A lot of people want to establish this kind of relief work, but find it very difficult to get people on the ground, and in a modest way we have been able to do that, and I think that's an answer to prayer. And the other thing is that there may be people who feel that they can give time. They won't be able to do that without making some sacrifice to their own agenda and their own objectives in life. But it's a fragrant offering to God to make that sacrifice. And if you can, there are people, myself or a guy called Russell Flavel from Aberfoyle Park, can be contacted, and individuals or groups can jump on board and be part of those work teams.
Rod, thank you very much, and we pray you well for that event on Sunday, as well as for your continuing supervision and work here. God bless you.
Thank you, Ian.